She stood there with a flashlight in one hand and her phone pressed tight to her ear. Red pajama robe barely clinging to her shoulders. Hair wrapped in a messy towel like she'd been yanked out of bed by a personal emergency, which apparently was me unlocking the front door of my own damn cabin.
911, yes? He just broke in. He has a Kiba. I don't recognize him. I heard every word as I slid the lock open.
Cabinwood creaked, like it remembered me. Course it. Did I built it? My father and I raised this thing back when the road was still gravel, and Karen wasn't even a roomer in this town. Ma'am, this is my property, I said, turning to face her calmly. You're trespassing and yelling at 2 a.m. Her flashlight swung straight at my face like a cop trying to blind a suspect. You're lying, she hissed. Cabin belongs to the HOA. It's a restricted use unit. I almost laughed. The HOA didn't exist when this land was deeded. Save it, she barked, turning her head slightly, but still aiming her phone like a gun. I want him arrested now. He's scaring me. He's acting aggressive. Aggressive. I hadn't moved a muscle. I knew that tone, that performance. I've seen it in courtrooms, in interrogation rooms, in the field. And people like her always thought it would work, until it didn't. A faint engine sound crawled up the hill. Blue lights began cutting through the tree line. She smirked like she'd won something. You're done, she whispered, stepping back. They'll handle you. I reached slowly into my jacket. She flinched like I was going for a weapon. But when I flipped open the worn leather badge wallet and held it up in the wash of her flashlight, her breath caught mid-sentence. Special. Agent David Monroe, Federal Land and Property Division. Her smirk died instantly. And I hadn't even told her the best part yet. The patrol car rolled to a stop just past the cabin gate, tires crunching over gravel like slow thunder. 2 deputies stepped out, one older with a thick mustache, the other younger and twitchy hand, already hovering near his holster. Their lights were still flashing, painting the woods red and blue like a war zone, and I noticed Karen fix her posture like she was about to accept an award. There he is, she shouted, pointing dramatically like she was in some courtroom drama. That's him, broke in right in front of me. The older deputy approached cautiously, eyeing both of us. Sir, can I see some ID? Karen folded her arms, confident. He flashed some fake badge. Said he was a federal something. I want him arrested. He threatened me. I didn't say a word, just held up the badge again, slower this time. The older deputy took it, squinting at the name, then glanced up at me. Federal Land and Property. Damn. The younger deputy leaned in. That legit? More than legit, the older one muttered. This badge doesn't come from the post office. Karen's face twitched. What does that even mean? He's not allowed to be here. No, this land falls under our HOA regulations, Section 13. Page 7, restricted access after sundown. I finally spoke. Ma'am, this entire mountain ridge is Federal Reserve property. Your HOA has no jurisdiction here. In fact, this cabin is one of 6 properties built before the HOA even existed. I'm not under your rules. Never was. She blinked hard, but didn't back down. Then how did I get a notice? I got paperwork that says you got paperwork from a committee that prints its own rules on Microsoft Word. I cut in. You ever wonder why your notices never come with signatures from an actual government office? The younger deputy was clearly lost. The older one was not. He turned to Karen. Ma'am, did you file an official complaint on this property before tonight? Karen hesitated. I know, but I've told the board. And you called 911, claimed a break-in. At 2 a.m., without checking who lived here. Without proof. And now, you're standing on his porch, yelling and refusing to leave? The wind had shifted. You could feel it in the air. The power had cracked just a little, but enough. Karen's mouth opened, closed. She backed off the step, stumbling. A bit on a loose stone. He still scared me, she mumbled. He said things. The older deputy handed my badge back. Agent Monroe, you want to press charges for trespassing? I didn't answer right away. I looked at Karen, really looked at her. The robe, the towel still in her hair, the forced drama collapsing under real authority. Not yet, I said. Slowly. but I do want a copy of the 911 call, because something told me this wasn't the first time she'd pulled something like this. And it sure as hell wasn't going to be the last. Karen was quiet now, but not because she understood. No, it was the silence of calculation. Her eyes flicked between me and the deputies, jaw clenching like she was grinding her next excuse into shape. The younger deputy radioed something back to dispatch. Meanwhile, the older one stepped aside and motioned toward Karen. "Ma'am, I need you to step off the property line. Right now, you're on federal land, and technically, you're the trespasser. That broker," she snapped. "You're siding with him. I live just down the trail. The cabin has been here for 15 years. We maintain this area, pick up trash, shovel snow. We protect it from squatters like him." The older deputy raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, the person you're calling a squatter just showed me federal ID. You, on the other hand, have shown me nothing but attitude and a flashlight." That flashlight was still in her hand. I hadn't even noticed until now. But she was gripping it so tight, her knuckles had gone white. "I have authority here," she hissed. I stepped off the porch. Calm. Deliberate. "Karen, the only authority you have is over the book club in your cul-de-sac. Not on federal land. Not over me. And especially not at 2 in the damn morning." She turned red. "You can't talk to me like that?" "Ma'am," the older deputy interrupted before I could answer. "I'm going to have to ask you one last time to leave the property. If you refuse, we'll escort you off. And if you come back uninvited, we'll escalate." Karen's mouth opened like she wanted to scream, but then the radio crackled again. This time, it was loud enough for everyone to hear. "Be advised.
Oh.
The 911 caller has a flagged history false reports tied to multiple civil complaints." The deputy's eyes locked with mine for a second, and something passed between us. That was the real twist. She had a record. Karen froze. Is that about me?" Her voice cracked. "You tell me," the deputy said, cool and flat. "Because the name and address match." She looked like someone had pulled the floor out from under her. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. She glanced back toward the woods toward her. House, her HOA, her little empire of printed warnings and passive-aggressive letters. "Go home," I said, voice steady. "You're done here." And for once, she didn't argue. She just turned and walked away barefoot, clutching her flashlight like it was the only thing left holding her together. But as her figure vanished into the shadows between the trees, I knew something deep down. She wasn't finished. I didn't sleep after that, not because I was scared, just wired. You don't deal with people like Karen and then roll into bed like it's over, especially not when they walk away quiet. Karen didn't leave defeated, ... She left planning. By 7 a.m., I was on the porch with coffee, scanning the tree line. Sunlight hit the mountains just right, orange glow spilling over the peaks like they were catching fire. Peaceful. But I've lived too many lives to be fooled by peace this early in a fight. And right on cue, I spotted them. 2 SUVs crawling up the trail. Not police. Not forest rangers. These were shiny, too clean. One even had a magnetic sign slapped on the door. Mountain Valley HOA enforcement. I smiled into my coffee. The first SUV parked crooked near the gate, like they were in a rush to look official. Out stepped 3 men and 1 woman, all in matching navy jackets with laminated badges clipped to their collars. Fake authority in full costume. Karen popped out from the second SUV, this time dressed like a real estate agent on a mission. Blazer heels, clipboard. Like last night hadn't happened. She didn't even look at me. Walked straight up with her little crew in tow. "You are now in violation," she said, flipping open her clipboard dramatically. "This structure is unregistered. The surrounding land has not been cleared with the local advisory board. We're placing it under community review." One of her guys reached into his coat and started placing a red sticker on my porch post. "Notice of violation, subject to eviction." I stayed seated, calm, sipped my coffee. Then I said, "You sure you want to do this in front of a camera?" The one applying the sticker paused. Karen blinked. "What camera?" I nodded toward the pine tree across from us. "Top branch." Little box with a green light. Night vision, heat sensor, facial recognition, live feed. The man with the sticker dropped his arm. Karen looked up. You're bluffing? You're on federal land? I said again, slow this time. Tampering with a protected property under investigation can be classified as obstruction, especially when you show up with fake enforcement, trying to stick illegal notices on a government cabin. One of her jacketed goons leaned toward her. Karen ... Maybe we should talk first? No, she snapped, brushing him off. Lying, that's what they do. He said he was federal. So what? Anyone can print a badge? He's trying to intimidate us? This is our mountain? I stood up finally, calm as ever, pulled out my phone, pressed play, and her voice came out loud and clear, the 911 recording. He just broke in. He has a key, but I don't recognize him. Yes, I want him arrested. He's threatening me. Karen went still. So did her whole team. I locked eyes with her. You filed a false police report, Karen, on a federal officer. That's not an HOA violation. It's a federal crime. The clipboard dropped to the ground, and the sticker guy started backing up. Now it wasn't just me calling her out.